Paul. Unfortunately, tonight's update is not the one we all hoped for. Police say they found a body matching the description of Dakara Thompson. They made that discovery Sunday near Route 50 in Annapolis. Our Kelly Vaughn is at police headquarters where they made this announcement just a few hours ago.
The FBI just revealed why Dakara Thompson's death was planned from the very beginning, and the details are so disturbing they'll make your blood run cold. This wasn't some random encounter gone wrong. This was a calculated murder by a predator who's been hunting for victims. Y'all, when I tell you that the details about what happened to 19-year-old Dakara Thompson just keep getting more gruesome by the day, it's absolutely insane. The evidence is pointing to something so much darker than anyone initially imagined, and the FBI's investigation is uncovering a pattern that suggests this monster has done this before. Dakara Thompson's parents just want her home. "It's been hard, baby," her family said through tears, not knowing that their worst fears were about to be confirmed. But here's the kicker. What investigators found in Hugo Hernandez Mendez's bedroom suggests Dakara wasn't his first victim, and she definitely wasn't going to be his last.
19-year-old Dakara Thompson disappeared 12 days ago. She was last seen on August 22nd in Prince George's County. Surveillance video shows her parking her car the wrong direction in front of a fire hydrant on Jasmine Terrace, then walking towards Riggs Road.
The surveillance footage shows Dakara leaving her white SUV at 3:06 a.m. on August 23rd, walking from Jasmine Terrace down Riggs Road toward University Boulevard in Hyattsville. Wait, it gets more chilling. The footage captured her approaching the driver's side of a black GMC Yukon Denali, speaking to the driver, then walking around to get in the passenger seat. It appears that she willfully entered a vehicle being driven by Hugo Hernandez Mendez, a 35-year-old male out of Bowie, Maryland, police stated. But here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. Dakara left her purse in her parked vehicle, which was sitting in a no parking zone, meaning she planned to not stay long and told her dad she'd be back soon. Police discovered all of her personal belongings were still in her car. Her purse, credit cards, debit cards, and even $60 in cash. But check this out. What made Hugo feel comfortable enough to bring a random girl to his home where his family lives, including children? Most predators use hotels or motels to avoid being traced, but he took her straight to his house. Personally, I believe none of this is a coincidence, and the thought of what really happened makes me sick to my stomach, especially when we consider that investigators allegedly found other women's underwear in Hugo's bedroom like twisted trophies. Are we dealing with a serial killer here who's been operating under everyone's noses? Did Dakara know this man before their deadly meeting? And what exactly are the rest of his family members hiding from investigators who are digging deeper into this case?
On August the 31st, we were notified that Maryland State Police located a body. That body was located just off of Route 50 in Anne Arundel County.
He says since Dakara went missing, police have been working with her family, searching through security footage and looking through cell phone information.
Y'all ain't ready for this part. There's been controversy about whether certain advocacy groups care about this case because the suspect isn't the right demographic for their narrative. Social media has been flooded with wild theories about Dakara's personal life. But let's focus on the facts that matter. She was first reported missing by her father just before 9 p.m. on August 23rd, after he hadn't heard from her since the night of August 22nd. He told police he called when she hadn't returned home, but she didn't answer her phone. She had texted him that night saying she was going to get gas and would be back soon, but he never heard from her again. When she didn't return home on August 24th, family members used the Find My Phone app to track her last known location. The family found her car at the intersection of Jasmine Terrace and Riggs Road in Hyattsville, and that's when they called police. Dakara was the youngest of 5 siblings, and they all shared locations through the app, which is how they discovered her phone had been turned off after reaching that specific intersection. For days after Dakara went missing, her family remained hopeful, but increasingly scared because her bank account had gone completely untouched. But here's where the story takes a devastating turn. On August 31st, around 4:50 p.m., Maryland State Police found a body on the river embankment about 30 feet below the short bridge over the South River.
Shaken this Bowie community. Many just finding out this news today, this morning, this afternoon from us as we ask people questions in the community. That killing allegedly happened in the house right here behind me.
On September 3rd, detectives met with Dakara's family and confirmed their worst nightmare. They were able to identify her through photos the family shared, and she had suffered skull and facial fractures. Her family identified her through her distinctive tattoos and jewelry, but the injuries told a horrific story of violence. But wait, it gets even more disturbing when you look at the timeline and evidence. When Dakara left with Hugo at 3 a.m., she abandoned her purse in a car parked illegally in front of a fire hydrant. Who leaves their purse behind at 3 a.m., especially when getting into a stranger's car? Was she planning to come right back? Was she in such a rush that she didn't think clearly? Was she kidnapped against her will? Or was she so familiar with Hugo that she felt safe enough to leave her belongings behind? And did she turn off her location tracker herself? Or did someone else do it? The timing, location, and her decision to leave everything behind just feels completely wrong. Did she willingly meet Hugo, or was this encounter prearranged through some kind of online platform? And why did they meet in that specific spot at such an odd hour? On September 3rd, detectives went to Hugo's home just before 9 p.m. and saw the black SUV parked outside. They obtained a residential search warrant, and early on September 4th, they returned to execute it.
The characteristics were similar. We have not yet confirmed that this is the missing. I want to make that very clear.
Dakara's family has spent the past 12 days searching for her and posting missing persons flyers.
Check this out. They watched a man leave the house and get into the front seat of that same SUV. When questioned, Hugo allegedly told authorities he was at the Galaxy nightclub on University Boulevard in the early morning hours of August 23rd, which happens to be directly across the street from where Dakara was seen getting into his vehicle. He claimed he was supposed to meet his ex-girlfriend, but never did, which sounds like a convenient alibi. When investigators pressed him for more details, he denied any involvement in Dakara's disappearance and immediately asked for a lawyer. But here's where the evidence gets absolutely damning. After executing the search warrant, police found what they believed to be Dakara's blood and a missing white and pink French manicured fingernail. They also discovered hair, a wig, and other disturbing evidence in Hugo's bedroom and trash, along with multiple pairs of women's underwear and lingerie that didn't belong to anyone in the house. Y'all, that's not normal behavior. That's the calling card of a serial predator who keeps trophies from his victims. Hugo Hernandez Mendez was arrested and charged with first and second-degree murder in Dakara's gruesome death. ICE immediately issued a detainer for who they called a criminal illegal alien.
Police have found a body they say matches the description of Dakara Thompson, though they have not officially confirmed that it is her just yet. Maryland State Police were the ones to find the body. They say they were called to the area of eastbound Route 50 in Annapolis, where they found a young woman's body lying in a grassy area near the highway.
And promised that justice would be served for Dakara's family, but the damage was already done. Investigators believe Hugo murdered Dakara inside his bedroom in the early morning hours of August 23rd, then calmly loaded her body into his car, drove to Route 50, and threw her over the short bridge like she was disposable garbage. The level of coldness and detachment required for that act feels completely inhumane. What's even more disturbing is that there were multiple people in the house when everything was happening, and they were all questioned by police about what they heard and saw. One cousin told investigators she couldn't believe a family member would do such a thing, but admitted Hugo's behavior had changed dramatically in recent weeks. She said she rarely saw him during the last 2 weeks, and even told him to confess when the investigation started heating up. But here's the twisted part. During the investigation, her husband and a third relative were also taken in for questioning, but Hugo was the only one not released. The next morning, federal immigration agents returned to take her husband into custody, even though she insisted he had nothing to do with the alleged crime and had fully cooperated with investigators. Another roommate reported hearing Dakara and Hugo having intercourse, followed by grunting noises that made them believe someone wasn't enjoying the activity.
Police have confirmed the body found along Route 50 on Sunday afternoon in Anne Arundel County is in fact that of missing teen Dakara Thompson. Now, earlier this morning, police announced that she had been killed and a man has already been arrested and charged in connection with her murder.
After waking up hours later, they noticed the GMC wasn't parked outside the house, which was strange since Hugo reportedly didn't work on Saturdays and the vehicle was usually parked out front. But wait, it gets more suspicious. A third and fourth witness claimed they didn't know anything about what happened during those overnight hours because they lived on the opposite side of the house. The question investigators are asking is whether the people in that house saw and heard more than they're admitting. Are they protecting Hugo out of family loyalty, fear of retaliation, or self-preservation? Between the cousin's nervous comments, the husband's sudden immigration arrest, and the roommate's disturbing testimony, it seems like this family is holding crucial pieces of the puzzle. Hugo already had an extensive criminal history that reads like a handbook for reckless and dangerous behavior. We're talking multiple DUI charges, not just once but repeatedly, showing a complete disregard for public safety and the law. He was also caught with open containers of alcohol in his vehicle, cruising around like he was on a permanent road trip to Vegas. Add in charges for operating a vehicle without due care, ignoring traffic control devices, running stop signs, blowing through red lights, and parking wherever he wanted. He was also making unsafe lane changes and treating the road like his personal playground where rules didn't apply to him.
That suspect, according to Prince George's County Police, is in the United States illegally and is now subject to an ICE detainer. News 4's Darcy Spencer joins us live in Bowie, where that man was taken into custody.
But here's the kicker. Hugo was caught driving on a suspended license multiple times, meaning the state had already told him to stop driving, but he completely ignored those orders. How was he still roaming around freely with all these charges, especially considering his immigration status? It just doesn't make sense that someone with such an extensive criminal record was allowed to continue operating vehicles and putting innocent people at risk. Detectives are still working to determine whether Dakara and Hugo knew each other before her disappearance, but there are still massive questions that need answers. Why would Dakara leave her SUV in such an obvious ticket magnet spot with all her belongings inside? Was she planning to be gone for just a few minutes? Did Hugo promise to bring her right back to her car? Or was she distracted and didn't realize what kind of dangerous situation she was walking into? Was she actually kidnapped against her will? Or did she turn off her location tracking voluntarily? Are Hugo's family members lying about what they really know about his activities? Is this something Hugo has done to other victims before Dakara? People from the area think it's possible he could be connected to other missing persons cases, including men and women who have disappeared without a trace.
I spoke to a woman who lives here. She asked to not be shown on camera, but she says she had no idea a crime had happened inside the house and that this suspect is her cousin.
There was even a father who was found murdered just 2 days after Dakara's body was discovered, raising questions about whether Hugo was operating as part of a larger criminal network. Otherwise, why would he be collecting women's underwear and lingerie like twisted trophies from his victims? The FBI's investigation is revealing that Hugo had been planning and preparing for these types of encounters, suggesting Dakara's murder wasn't a crime of passion, but a premeditated act by someone who had done this before and planned to do it again. The evidence suggests Hugo was actively hunting for victims, using his vehicle and knowledge of the area to target vulnerable young women who might trust him enough to get into his car. The fact that he brought Dakara to his family home shows an incredible level of confidence that he wouldn't get caught.
It was inside this house on Cambridge Drive in Bowie, inside this bedroom, that investigators say 19-year-old Dakara Thompson was murdered. Neighbors are stunned that the missing teen investigation led to Bowie.
This case is exposing how predators can hide in plain sight, living with families and appearing normal while secretly committing horrific crimes. The multiple pairs of women's underwear found in his possession suggest there may be other victims whose cases haven't been connected to Hugo yet. What's most chilling is how calculated and methodical Hugo appears to have been in his approach. From the late-night meeting location to the disposal of Dakara's body, every aspect suggests careful planning rather than spontaneous violence. The FBI is now working to determine if Hugo is connected to other unsolved disappearances and murders in the area, and they're asking anyone with information about his activities to come forward immediately. This case serves as a horrific reminder that predators often appear normal on the surface while harboring the darkest intentions. Dakara's family deserves justice, and every potential victim deserves to know the full truth about what Hugo was really doing. What do y'all think about this case? Do you believe Hugo was operating as a serial killer, or was Dakara just in the wrong place at the wrong time? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this investigation is far from over, and there may be more victims we don't even know about yet.